Hello YouTube, back with the next Modern Pony review, and today we're reviewing the Gizmonks and Drudge. Now the Gizmonks, of course, as I went through with the Great Rainbow Caper, which is the episode these two characters appear in, they end up being, well, as their name kind of suggests, they are inventors. They love inventing stuff, but of course they end up finding one thing that turns out to be a little harder to be given to them, because it's the Rainbow of Light. No telling what they wanted to use it for. I don't recall anything. They just wanted it. I think who knows why. They had animals in cages, whether or not. I think those may have been test subjects for whatever inventions they had in mind. So if they were trying to be evil, they were definitely being very, very, very subtle about it. Arguably, I think they're probably not entirely evil, because they never really had any sinister motives as far as we're aware. I mean, yeah, eventually it got to the point where Megan and the others came in and just basically sabotaged the entire thing, destroying the whole thing, and then the Gizmonks decided it wasn't worth it. Now, Drudge, on the other hand, was kind of like the little messenger. He went underground to go back and forth between the Gizmonks lab and whomever else they were talking to. In the case of, it was Danny and the others. Surprise gets involved in this. Cherry Jubilee gets involved in this as well, but not majorly. I mean, we only see Cherry's Jubilee at the beginning. Surprise gets a little more involved. She's the one that partially destroys. She kind of gets into the act and kind of manages to get all the information she needs to help basically destroy the place. All the machines end up being destroyed. The animals end up getting freed, so they end up not getting the Rainbow of Light at all because they figured it's just not worth it. I think they probably should have realized that at the beginning, considering the fact that it's a one-of-a-kind object. I think, arguably, Megan probably should have said, you can't have it, it's a one-of-a-kind artifact. If I don't have it, then, you know, make a little compromise of some sort. Maybe help with some invention, although it's arguably equally possible that she doesn't have a clue how to work any of the equipment anyway. She doesn't know how to invent, so she probably didn't have a compromise anyway. Though if she had come up with one, she probably would have implemented anyway. They don't end up getting back home because apparently Surprise is not very good at flying and ends up landing herself and Danny in a tree. But you know, it's all in good fun for those two because they end up laughing it off pretty much. So yeah, we really don't know. I mean, Drudge is certainly an interesting character. It's a completely different character compared to the other two. The other two got monkeys and a gopher basically working together, serving sort of as, it's kind of strange. I guess the gopher probably would have been easier to go underground because that's what it naturally does, rather than try to race across and, you know, where he's visible and, you know, whatever else. But at the same time, you gotta wonder if maybe there was something else maybe a little more sinister involved with that gopher, considering that, well, it's underground, it's easy to go back and forth, the opponent's never going to see it coming, and they can go back and forth, distort what they were told, you know, back and forth regardless, so, and all they have is the gopher to go on. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, because there's no proof of them being truly sinister, though. The gopher seemed like a nice creature to be around. He's very loyal to the Gizmonks, as far as we're aware. Also was willing to help the ponies out, Danny and the others out. I mean, it's not like the gopher decided not to tell him anyway, just for, oh, we don't want them finding out, because they'll just sabotage the whole thing. Went, kind of gave an incentive, explained what the trade-off was, essentially. They would get freed if the Rainbow of Light was given. Of course, it wasn't. I think that's when they kind of realized there was something going on here. They were not truly as nice as they kind of let themselves, you know, made themselves appear. They weren't evil, I will say that. They were definitely not evil. They were maybe on the starting point. They had a little bit more, maybe they were a little greedy. Greedy is probably the better word to use that, considering that they're inventors. They want, probably, the more valuable it is, probably the more likely it'll be useful for their inventions. Probably the more power it'll have to offer them. And then we know the Rainbow of Light Has a lot of power to it. Don't know what they would have done with it. Could have been very interesting. We could have seen something either beneficial or maybe truly terrifying. We don't know. They only appear in that one episode. We never see the duo again. I guess they really call it a duo. They're not really. It's Group A and Drudge there. But it's an interesting way to look at it. You get different characters you don't see, especially two different types of species working together that you don't see in the rest of the series, really. I mean, for the most part, it's I guess the last time we saw that was with the end of Flutter Valley, with the witches working with the bees to get the Sunstone and all that. But they're not bad characters. I mean, they're kind of interesting. It would have been interesting to see how they would have evolved with their technology, especially nowadays. I mean, they'd probably be floored with all the technology we have now. Most of the stuff they wouldn't even have to invent, because we know we got people already that do that. Who knows? They may have been out of business at this point. Not that they're not really selling anything per se, but one can never really rule out what they were going to do with the animals, whether it was, I mean, test subjects is probably a likely culprit. Since they're inventors, they would probably invent something, try it on the animal, see how it reacts, and then make tweaks or whatever they wanted to do with it. Or maybe it's exactly what they wanted to do, and they'll go with it. And I mean, after all, this is the 1980s, so this show could have been a little darker than we would have otherwise gotten to see. But it seems like the writers didn't want to go that far with this particular episode, and they didn't expand on them, so they didn't really get a whole lot of screen time beyond this point. So, yeah. That's my review on Drudge and the Gizmonks. Thanks for watching.